Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to any new subscribers. If you like what you see, please like, subscribe, leave any comments. It's always good to get some feedback. And in a way that's the purpose of today's, or the reason behind today's video. If you'd have seen some of our recent videos, you'll have seen our new caravan along with our Towcar, Land Rover Discovery 4, and that seems to have sparked a bit of interest. And I've had a couple of requests to see whether I could share some thoughts as to how it performs as a tow car. So that's what I'm going to try and do. And I've thought about it, and I thought, I wonder if I could make this as a little bit more interesting than just standing in front of a car telling you what it is. So what I've decided to do is to film it over the next 2 or 3 outings with the caravan. That way we'll probably be able to share more of a real experience with you, how it performs, where we take it, the economy, which is always a contentious subject, especially with the diesel prices of today. So yeah, that's what we'll try and do. We'll spread it over a few trips and we'll see how it goes. You might see me in different sets of clothes, but that's just going to be the nature of the film. There'll also be a piece which I'll try and time lapse, because as you know we've got some Labradors and we have to accommodate them in as much comfort as we possibly can. And I built my own dog cage in the back, and as the car has to go in for an MOT this week, day after tomorrow, I have to take the cage out. It's not a lift in lift out process, because I built it in situ more or less. It takes me about 10 or 15 minutes to get it all changed back to what it should be. So I'll time lapse that, and you can see what the rear part of the car looks like. So hopefully you'll find that approach a little bit more interesting, as we try and give you, as I said, a real world feel for what the car is, how it performs, what it means to us to have a Land Rover to pull our caravan. Going forward, I don't know how long we'll keep it for, because fuel's becoming rather expensive, but that's a whole nother subject, a whole nother topic. So yeah, stick with us. Hopefully it's going to be of some use. You enjoy it. We'll see you at the other end. Right, so here we are. This is the vehicle in question. Land Rover Discovery 4 2016 Landmark Edition. As I mentioned, we have dogs, which I'm sure you've seen in the videos, and I built this thing, all sort of reclaimed materials apart from the special sheet of plywood. We have a door where they sit. Obviously the car's got air conditioning anyway, but we have here fans which we can cool them down a little bit more on a hot day. I can tell the battery voltage from here, a little bit low when the car's not running. We have a work light on those cold evenings, see what we're doing. So yeah, but it's fixed into situ. There's about half a dozen, probably a few more bolts that I have to take out, and then the whole thing lifts out. And the door's shut, we lock it in position, stop any accidental losses of dogs. Under here we have additional storage. Yeah. Here you can see this extended bolt, because if you don't know, on one of these things, the spare wheel lives under there, and you have to unwind that bolt to lower the wheel down. So I had to extend that to make sure I could still get the wheel off in an emergency. Here's a 7-seater, the extra 2 seats are under there. We've used it as a 7-seater with the grandchildren probably only 2 times in a year, so it's not something I have to continually worry about. But it doesn't take long. I can soon get this lot out. I'll put it on time lapse and you can see how it goes. Today we are en route to another week's holiday up north. We're currently travelling on the A1 north. Very good day, road's good, traffic's been very stop start, lots of ultra flow roadworks. I think we're now going to hit another one, so the miles per gallon on this trip is not showing very good. Wondering where this bloke in this area is going. Oh, we're okay. But as for towing wise, yeah, sweet as a nut. Loads and loads of power. A bit too much at sometimes. Very stable. Having a twin axle helps, obviously. Notice the big difference. Turn the radio on. Notice the big difference in going up from a single axle to the twin axle. Things don't tend to fall out of the cupboard so much, it's a lot more steady, stable on the road. Yeah, here we go again. This is an example of what's happening today. So we are in the low 20s mpg. Yeah, just another example of how we tow. Catch you again. Quick video update. I've been on a short run. It's about 10 to 12 mile round trip to the local supermarket, sticking to the local speed limits, and we've managed 35 miles to the gallon. You can see it's 33 degrees outside, so the aircon and the climate control is working really hard. Just another example of the mileage. So here's a second example of solo economy, i.e. without the caravan. Just been to take the dogs for a quick walk, about 10 mile round trip probably. Very warm day, blowers are working hard, but we got 41 to the gallon. Again, going by the speed limits, not going stupid. Yeah, so that's quite reasonable. Hello again. Another example of fuel economy with the caravan on. We've been driving for about 2.5 hours, a mixture of all sorts of roads, right out of the Peak District, A52, and we're on the A1 at the minute, and very stop-start in certain places, so it's a right mixture, and we've averaged 23 miles to the gallon, which is about normal for us fully laden. So, yep, that's probably the last example I'm going to show you. Okay, so it's fast forward to the beginning of December 22, and as you can hear, I'm suffering with a bit of a cold at the minute, but there's a couple of things I want to add to the video, if you can understand me. I thought I'd better show you what we have on the dash. There's been a few clips of it in the video, so I'll just take a minute to explain that. We have the TomTom Go Camper, which we use in preference to the built-in Land Rover sat-nav. A, the Land Rover one's a little bit out of date, and B, you can't put in the dimensions of the caravan and the Towcar. So the TomTom wins out over that. Up here, this is the rear view camera. I'll put a little slot, a little clip in to show a little piece of film from that. And then to the left of that is the tyre pal. The tyre pal is currently only hooked up to the caravan, the four wheels on the caravan. It's been really good, but I did have to add a repeater, and I'll show you that in a minute. That's just bolted in on the back. That's boosted the signal. The only downside with all of this is this one here. This gives me a reasonable picture. I've got a very small camera mounted just above the number plate, with no intrusive holes into the bodywork. It's all hidden within the panels of the body, but I haven't had to drill any additional holes. I mean, if there's enough interest, I could take you through what I did there, but that would be a little bit more than I want to add just right now. The downside of that is from time to time it does drop the signal from the camera. Now that's possibly because the unit that sends the information or the picture from the camera is mounted midway in the caravan. If I can reinstall that a little bit closer to the front window, maybe I'm going to get a better picture. It works for 90% of the time, but every now and then it'll go blank and it'll just say waiting for signal, and eventually it'll come back. So I can only think we're on the edge of the capability of the signal for that device. Whether we modify that or whether we, I don't know, maybe we'll invest in a new one. There are some pretty good ones out there in a minute. Yeah, so that's pretty much as it is in here, really. There's not much more to tell you. Pretty standard stuff. We did make a nice little shelf that fits in here, lifts in, lifts out. To be honest with you, somewhere to put my coffee cup. Yeah. Tyres is the next thing. We had new tyres. So, tyres. Latter part of the summer, I needed new tyres, and because, believe it or not, I actually take this thing off-road a fair bit in the winter time. I went with the General Grabber AT3s. I've had these before. They're a phenomenal tyre if you're doing light off-road, and they're a good match between on-road, off-road. No additional noise, super quiet, but off-road, I don't know if I get you out of some sticky situations. These are 255 55s, R20s on the Land Rover 20-inch wheels, but I've had no qualms with them and thoroughly recommend them. So back in the boot, and this is the repeater I mentioned for the tyre pal system. I found that when I fitted this, really boosted the system, and we don't lose any signal now. All the temperatures and all the pressures are always displayed. We don't use the tyre pal to measure the car currently because it has it in Land Rover inbuilt tyre pressure monitoring. So just for the caravan, but really good. So the last thing I wanted to add was to do with the tow bar. During the summer I caught a glimpse on YouTube of a caravan becoming detached from the tow ball, and the car in question was a Land Rover Discovery. Not because the caravan hadn't been hooked up properly, but because the detachable tow bar supplied by Land Rover apparently has a habit of dropping out of the fixtures. Not common, but it does happen, has happened. As indicated in the video we saw with the caravan which came sailing past the car. That prompted me to look around and find a very simple device. It's this thing. You can find them all over the place on eBay. Basically it fits under the tow ball, and bolts to the framework of the car. Peace of mind. Apparently, I believe it's to do with the mechanism where this part fits into the car that becomes a little bit worn, and every now and then, with the right conditions, the tow bar has been known to detach from the car, which is a rather frightening thought. These things, around about 20 quid with the bolts supplied. You put your tow bar in, bolt that up underneath, and there's a physical barrier that prevents it from dropping out, from moving out. I've taken it off for the winter because we're stored up for the winter now. But come springtime, that'll go back in, and it'll be there until we take the tow ball out again. So yeah, that's it really. That's the last thing. As a car, I'm absolutely over the moon with the car. Can't fault this one little bit so far. Service is due in January. It's good off-road. I do take it off-road in the winter time. So far it's been reliable, touch wood. I just tempted fate there. But it's a stonkingly brilliant car. So powerful, so stable, so capable. Yeah, long may it rain. Thanks for watching. I hope my sharing of that has been of use to somebody. So catch you in the next one. Bye.